Well, good afternoon, YouTube. So, came out to get started on the Rambler this weekend. Want to get the rear end done, want to get it lowered, want to go ahead and hook the rear brake line back up, all that stuff. Be able to where I can get this thing back down off the jack stand. That's the plan for the weekend. Problem is, I got easily distracted. That was supposed to be the whole start of the video. Instead, I have put the side skirts on the caddy this morning, and I think I've made like 6 or 7 TikToks instead. It's going to be that type of a weekend, guys. I am not working on this video, though. This is a video coming up because, holy crap, the parts pile up there for it just keeps getting bigger. Not necessarily because I keep finding things that are wrong with it. I just keep finding things I want to go ahead and take care of before they get to that point. Like, the alternator's got a squeaky bearing. It's driving me crazy. I want to fix it. So that's getting done. You know, the brakes are old, so they're getting done. Things like, excuse me, guys. Things like that. But no, the plan is for this weekend is hopefully in the next 4 days, 3.5, something like that, make this a drivable car again. I think the only thing that's going to hurt me on that is maybe the water pump, but we're going to cross that bridge as we get to it. See if I can't figure something out with that, because I, for some reason, cannot find a water pump that matches that one anywhere on eBay, Amazon, any parts store. I was even in contact with the guy that I got the transmission from and that water pump from. He doesn't have one, and he's got a ton of parts. So I've even debated on trying to take that water pump apart after I get it out and see if I can't maybe replace the bearings or something in it somehow, because that seems to be the main problem with it. But I don't know if I trust me enough to do that. Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't trust me enough to do that. But if that's my only option, that's my only option, I guess. It's either that or I've got to try to find another pulley for that water pump, or make a spacer out of the spacer thing that I have that I don't know where it is at the moment, to space the pulley out for this water pump to work with this water pump. I mean, either way I guess will work, but I'd like to just have it correct. So, and I don't know anywhere where I can just go look for a water pump pulley locally. I don't know why that's an issue either. You'd think someone would sell one, but no one seems to. So yeah, that's the thing. Alright, enough of me rambling. First thing on the agenda is I've got to get underneath the car, get the coil springs out of it. I want to cut them a little bit and put them back in. So after I do that, I can start looking at getting the transmission up off of the ground, or not the transmission, the rear end up off the ground, and the torque tube actually physically bolted back to the car, which is the next, like, main step to getting this whole thing done. So the water pump's going to be the last thing I do in this video because, well, I want the whole car back on the ground before I even fight with it anymore. And I want to get all the suspension stuff done that I want to get done before I put the car back down on the ground. So yeah. Alright, let's get to work. That's task number 1 done. Really hoping I didn't cut off too much spring. I got a little gung-ho and I just lined it up where it was before, not thinking about how the fact that no matter what I did, the bottom was still flat. I could have halved that and went like 180 and did it back here and lowered it a lot less, but it is what it is. So it's only, I think, maybe about 2 inches, which is about what I wanted to drop it anyway. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm not trying to look for new springs after this. I guess we'll find out though. If I am, I am. That'll be lesson learned. I mean, luckily they're just a flat top spring. Flat top, flat bottom, so finding a second set to match them shouldn't be too incredibly hard. But I'm not cutting the front springs. My understanding is getting the springs out of the front of these things is extremely dangerous. So I bought the drop plates, which is going to drop the front of the car the better part of 2 inches. So she might have a little bit of an ass lowered rake, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. Oh, for now, I think I need to go and get my phone charger so I can plug you guys in and see if I can't try to record me actually doing some stuff. Yeah, that's next on the list. And then under the car I go, and hopefully, fingers crossed, getting the torque tube in goes well. I am not holding my breath, but I'm hoping. We'll find out though. Well, I've spent the last hour, I think now, and I have lost the yoke because there it is. Trying to get this back out of the car because it doesn't want to slide all the way onto the transmission. I'm guessing it's because there is rust on the output shaft that I should have cleaned off while I had it apart, not thinking about it, just trying to get the shit together. I have literally been under there with a hammer and pry bar, getting it to where I could get the damn yoke back out. At this rate, I think I need to quit for a little bit, because if not, I'm going to start breaking stuff. And apparently the wife tried calling me like 3 times, and I didn't answer my phone, because, well, obviously, I was under there, and I didn't have my phone with me. So, yeah. Fun times. I'll bring you back when there's an actual update, because right now, there's no progress, just anger. Back on day 2 with the Rambler. As you can tell by that wheel, the rear end is most definitely not in place. Because I tried fighting with this thing the other day, and could not get the yoke to go all the way on the transmission. So, I am basically chalking it up to the fact that there is rust on the output shaft of the transmission. And I'm hoping I can get the rust cleaned up without having to try to tear everything back apart, because I really don't want to take all that apart, and be able to get this to go on. It might even take a little bit of sanding the inside of this too. We'll see, because I mean, it goes on the old transmission without much of a fight. So it just pretty much, I think it like lines up somehow. Once it lines up, it goes on. It does not do that on the other one at all. About the first 1/8 inch or so goes on, and that's about it, and then it's a fight after that. So I am not going to try to record me being underneath the car and doing that, because I'm not exactly sure how I'm doing it yet. It may legitimately involve me starting the car and trying not to overheat it, since the water pump's not hooked up, and literally setting there with some sandpaper and smoothing off the output shaft. Because I think that's legitimately the only way I'm going to get it done. Because I don't think I can get anything into it other than my hand. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I will keep you guys posted. Well, after some not necessarily so gentle persuasion, the yoke's on. That will probably never come back off. And it's all because I didn't clean up the output shaft before I put that housing on. So yeah, I was basically just pounding it through rust. So I don't think I heard anything, but I guess we'll find out when I start the car the first time and try to drive it. But it is definitely in far enough now that I know I can get that on, and that has got a good like 2.5 inches of spline that interlocks with it, so I'm fairly confident once it's all together it'll be fine. It's not like I'm going to be hot rodding this thing It's an inline 6 with a 3-speed, and the transmission's not exactly the best thing in the world, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. Alright, yeah, and if you can hear the air leak in the background, oh, this tells you how things are going for me this weekend. You see that ball laying right there on the floor with that nice little drill bit in sticking out of it? Yeah, that was in the front tire of the Cadillac. Yep, brand new tire. Yep, that's totally flat. That's how my day's going. I love my cars. Oh yeah, and this is still a disaster. So, I guess I got one of two options. I can stay dirty, try getting the rear end the rest of the way into the car, or I can get cleaned up, take a break for a little while, go get a tire patch for this. I really want to try to get this done. I think we're going to stick with this. Sorry at this point I haven't recorded any of it, guys. It has been way more of a bear than I had ever thought this was going to be to put back together. So there's not been anything that's been very recordable. You see, I've got my tripod and stuff set up. I was hoping to record more, but it's not worked out that way so far. I'm going to try to downsize this thing to see maybe if you guys can see anything of what I'm going to be doing, but I'm not holding my breath on it. We'll see. Good news, boys and girls. It's in. Ugh. That was a bit of a pain to get in, but it's in. Which means now all I gotta do is get the rear springs put in, the brake line hooked back up, the shocks put back on, and I can drop the rear end. The whole back half of the car is done. I'll have to bleed the brakes, but I'll need the wife at home, I think, to do that, so that probably won't get done right now, but that's whatever. I don't care. It's just a relief having this bolted back together, because that was a nightmare. Unfortunately, like I said, I didn't get any of it recorded. I could not find a good way to get my tripod mount under here, and I can't find my little itty bitty one. Alright, now it's time to get cleaned up. Go get a patch for the tire for ye olde Cadillac back there. And go get the kids some food. But hey, progress was made. After they eat, I will probably try to get the rest of this rear end done. Yay. saying these are going to be a tight fit with it being lowered, but she's going to be a tight fit with it lowered. So I think I've got to go and make myself some clearance. This should be fun. But I don't think I'm going to bring you guys along for that one just because, well, ugh. I don't know exactly how much persuasion this is going to take. So I'm going to lower the rear end down a little bit and start using the old jack handle to roll those puppies in on both sides. Wish me luck. Oh, it's hard to visualize exactly how low this thing's going to set. Ah, hands in the way. With the front end still in the air. But you could almost see the top of the tire before. Oh, buddy. I think I lowered it too much. That could turn into a problem. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, because I don't think the front's going to drop that much. I think the front's going to drop to where you can just, like, maybe still see just the top of the tread. So we'll see. I'm hoping I didn't overdo it. If I did, I'll find another set of springs. Try again, but for the minute, it'll work. She might just have a bit of the gangster lean going on, being a little lower in the back. Or, I guess, can a car have Carolina squat? Damn it. Not what I was wanting to do. But, hey, there's also still a bunch of extra weight in the trunk, so I'm sure once I take some of the extra stuff out of the trunk, that'll help a little bit. But, yeah. But it also has an almost empty tank of gas. So I think it's going to balance out, and that's going to be about where it's going to sit. So we'll... Oops. Be badass if it do this, though, wouldn't it? Pull the front tires off the ground that high. Almost lay the back bumper on the ground. Should be a real hot rod then. I think this thing actually did that in real life. The car would split in half. Yeah. It is nice to have that much done so far. I was really hoping to be farther along than this by now this weekend, but it's just... Everything is fighting me this weekend. I think next thing I'm going to do is, hey, I got to go and check on the kids because the wife's at work. That's the other thing that's been hurting me on getting anything done is with her being at work. I've been trying to spend time with her before she goes to work and not been coming out here working on this like I need to. So I have a feeling tomorrow morning is going to turn into me coming out here before she goes to work and getting the whole front end of this thing done so I can get it on the ground, and then we can start figuring out that water pump. I know I've been saying that like over and over and over, and I've just not had the time to get out here this week like I normally do. So this is getting a little upsetting that I'm not farther along. But I will say at this point, it is at a point where if I absolutely needed to get this out of the garage, I could get it out of the garage again because it now has a working transmission again. Everything's bolted back together. The whole rear end's back together. So getting it in and out of the garage as necessary is feasible again. I just don't want to do it until the front end's done. So, and the back brakes still need bled, but I do in fact need the wife at home to do that. I cannot do that one on my own. Should have left the rear end in the air until that was done, but you know, I was excited. I wanted to see it dropped. Also wanted to check for wheel and tire clearance because I had a feeling it was going to be tight. I have a feeling if the front end drops anywhere near that low, it's going to be just as tight. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Cutting the springs in the front is not an option. So whatever drop I get out of the drop plates is what I get. I know there's a second option for the drop plates that the guy didn't say he had, which is, I think these are, it would share, because these holes and these holes are the factory holes for the spindle. So this very bottom set and this upper middle set. So this set and this set, actually I think it goes like this. I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I've not looked at these that close. Either way, one set of these holes is bolted to the spindle. The other set of the holes bolt it to the knuckle. Or bolt the spindle back onto the knuckle. There we go. However you want to word it. So there is a second option of instead of having the set of 4 holes, all it is these 2 holes, and then a second set of holes up higher that drop the front end even lower. I don't know if the guy that made these offers that or not. I didn't ask. So, but my feelings are, if I wanted to, I could take one of these to a machine shop. Show that way they can see how thick it is and everything. And go, I want this same basic thing, but eliminate the one set of holes and make basically one of the big squares twice, where they overlap at the set of holes, and they could probably do it. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not, if this doesn't drop it as low as I want, I'm not going to be super upset, but it would be nice if it would. So yeah, because I've learned from talking to people in groups and stuff, I do not want to go trying to tear the front end of this thing apart. The trunnion front suspension can be rather dangerous when you go to take it apart. So whatever drop I get out of these is what I'm getting. And worst case scenario, I'll find me another set of rear springs. So, which I don't think will be super hard to do, but I should have cut off about half of what I cut off. I'll put it that way, to get the drop I think I was wanting. And I cut the springs the same way I always cut springs, which is wherever the pigtail ends, drop down a full loop from that. Well, doing it that way cut almost 2 loops off of there. So I should have did it 180 out from it, which, being the fact that these springs were flat on top and bottom, would not have been a big deal to do. By the time I realized that, it was too late to turn back, and I'd already cut where I'd cut on one of them, so there was no doing it to the other. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge. I am very happy with that height in the rear. If I could get the front end that low too, I'd be super happy, but I don't think I can do it and be safe about it. It would involve some heat that I don't have, to heat the front springs to get it to drop a little bit. So, which I might be able to get a torch and stuff to do that. I just don't have it currently. So I could do that way, and it wouldn't be as dangerous. It'd still be sketchy, but not as sketchy. So yeah, I really don't want to do that unless I have to. So worst case scenario, when we're looking for another set of back springs. But all right, I am rambling again. Oh, and another bit of news, I have them sitting in the cart. I haven't ordered them yet. I'm going to go order them here later tonight, I think. I have found a set of wheels and tires that I want for the Caddy. So I think those are going to be getting ordered soon. Once I get those and get them put on, I think I'm just going to air out the back and see if I can't figure out a way to drop the front a little bit. They are the same size wheels and same size tires that's on it right now, because I couldn't find the wheels I like in a bigger size, so that I knew 100% would fit. The wheels I'm getting are 15 by 8s with a 4.5-inch back spacing. And these have just shy of a 4-inch back, or just over a 4-inch back spacing stock too. The wheels I really wanted that were a 17 are a 15 by 8 with a 3.75 back spacing, which pushes all of the extra lip to the front, which would be perfectly fine on the front, but I am concerned about the rear and it rubbing, because I've seen on a couple online forums that could be a definitive issue. While the tires would not be any wider, it'd be pushing everything out this way farther. So it's very, very iffy on whether or not it would work, and I really don't want to spend, $500-600 on a set of wheels and then them not work at all, and there not be a way to make them work. With the ones I'm ordering, worst case scenarios, I would buy a small spacer and they clear, because they got too much back spacing. But according to Summit Racing Online, they should fit just fine. So I'm not too worried about it. Summit Racing says they'll fit. They'll fit. Then I also have another set of wheels in the cart for this thing, but they're not really for this thing. I'm not saying what they're for yet. You guys will be seeing that soon. And when you see that, there will be some other things to go with it. So the car, if the wheels I'm ordering may end up going on this, honestly, because these wheels may be going on the other car instead. But that car, for all intents and purposes, is not really a project car. It will be kind of like this thing. It'll be in the background. I will do a video on it because there's a lot to tell about it. But it should just be a driver. At least last time I seen it, it was still a driver. So, but we'll get into that another time. So, hopefully that will actually, going and getting said vehicle, will probably be the very next video, if this getting all the brake work and everything done to it is not the very next video. So, because both things have to happen very soon, because I'm like 60% sure the back brakes are not all that great if they're working at all. And I know I got one front brake working really well. The other one's a bit, it stops. I've never been in a situation where I didn't think I could get it to stop. I've been in a couple situations where I went, whew, those front brakes are hot. But it's never failed to stop yet. So excuse me, guys. I have inhaled quite a few things being underneath the back end of the Rambler. So, but all right. I tried recording me putting everything back into the rear of the car, and I don't know how well it turned out. I gotta look at the footage yet. And then I tried recording me rolling the fenders on, or rolling the fender on the driver's side, to realize that when I thought I was hitting record, apparently I didn't hit record. I hit it the stop recording and only recorded me setting up the camera. So so there is no footage of the actual rolling of the fender, which is probably a good thing because it was hideous to watch me do. This side, I couldn't get it to roll, so I got out the handy dandy grinder and I made it clear. It's a good thing. It didn't want to roll because it's not factory sheet metal. It's a lot thicker than factory. So instead of starting to roll, just a little bit of Bondo that's there, it started cracking out instead. So I just got out the grinder and just started cutting away at the lip until the tire cleared. Without the tire on the car, of course. But yeah. So we'll see. Now I'm excited to get the front done because I want to see this thing on the ground. I'm still a little afraid the back end's going to be too low, but at this point I don't even care. It's going to look cool. It's whatever. It'll be fine. Worst case scenario, I'll get a little taller, a little skinnier back tire to make more clearance and make it sit up a little higher. It'll be good. It'll look like a hot rod. All right. Shutting up. And we'll go from there. seen, I started doing this, and I have discovered very quickly that literally out of the 4 bolts from the stock stuff, only one of them still work. All the rest of them just are way too long to do this whole deal. So I've got to go bolt hunting and find 16 bolts that are just slightly longer than this, that are threaded all the way, so I can adjust the lengths of them with a grinder. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Wish me luck. After a trip to Advance, a trip to Lowe's, and then finally a trip to Fastenal, I found the bolts I needed to get this all bolted together. I will show everything on the other side in a little bit of detail versus this side, because now this was just a learning process of figuring out how to actually put this together after I thought I knew how to put it together and I was wrong. So it's done. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's almost 2 inches, so it's a pretty significant drop. At least I think it will be once everything's back on the car. I'll get everything bolted together and show you the difference in the wheel well without the car even being dropped from side to side. And then we'll get the other side done, and we'll see what she actually looks like sitting on the ground, because she'll sit a little bit lower when she's on the ground. I still think the back's going to be lower than the front, but this is a good start in the right direction. So, here we go. Okay, there is the after. And here is the before. That's a pretty significant difference. So this might do a little bit better than I thought it was going to. Because that basically cut that in half. That's almost where it was riding stock, like with the car dropped down. So my hope is by the time that drops down is we can't see the top of this tire again. At least that's the hope. We'll see when I got it down, but it definitely isn't going to tuck as much as the back does. That's for damn sure. But I'm excited for it. So let's get the other side done. You guys will actually get. I think I'm just going to like not time lapse through it, but yeah, pretty much time lapse through it. I'm just going to do it on camera and then speed it up for you guys to watch. So, but first, I'm going to go and get all the tools drug over here. absolutely no one's surprise, she definitely sits lower in the back than she does in the front by a good little bit. So I am going to look around and see if I can find another set of springs to get the back end back up a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll see about getting the other plates for the front to drop the front even lower. And go from there. Because I do like the way the back looks. I'd like the front to look closer to that. Which also means I need a slightly shallower wheel spacer too. Because those are definitely going to rub on the front. So, that being said, there she is. She is nice and low now. I mean, it's not super low, but it's definitely a lot lower than it was stock, which in turn makes me happy. So I said the next thing we were going to do in this video was this water pump. And as much as I would like to do it, it is just not the right one, and I cannot come up with a way I comfortably feel I can do it right now and like try to cut this down and stuff. Just no way to do it to where I'm not scared I'm going to mess up the pulley alignment and everything. So that being said, I'm going to be on the hunt for either another pulley or another water pump in general. Before I do that, so I gotta figure out what else I want to do in this video, whether it's with this cart or another one, because frankly I feel like this is still a short video. I didn't really show a lot, and unfortunately that also means we're not driving this video. I was hoping to show you guys it moving around using the transmission, because that was the bulk of this, was getting this insanity done. So, but as you can see, we've got right there's reverse, there's second, or that's first, second, third. Now I do feel as if I've got the linkage is rubbing on something now that I'm not seeing. So I've got to do some massaging around this firewall and get that figured out. But wow, why do I feel all jammed up now? Huh. Definitely got some work to do there, because I don't know what's going on right now. But yeah, it does work. I know it works. I had it running through all the gears prior to putting the rear end in. So hopefully I've not hurt anything putting the rear end in. There it goes. Okay. Maybe I was trying to go the wrong way. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I was trying to go the wrong way. There we go. There's reverse, neutral, first. First, I know is a little bit hard to get into because it does rub. There we go. Then that's first and second are a really short throw because of the way the linkages are ran. And it is definitely hitting on something, but I'm not sure what. So, because it didn't do that with the old transmission, but I think I bent the firewall or something a little bit here. So something down here is hitting. I just got to figure out what, where, why. It might be right here. So, yeah. I am hitting on the cross member right there. So I need to play with that and see if I can't get that adjusted to where that's not an issue anymore. See if I can't get that panel to come up. Yeah, all right. So at least now I know what's going on. So I don't want to cut the video off here, but I got to figure out what else we're going to do. Maybe nothing else, I'll get it back outside and we'll get some pictures of it and stuff being all nice and low now. So I will be back when I figure out what it is we're doing. Come here, baby. Hey, come here. Baby. Skylar Joe. Skylar. Come here. Come here. Are you gonna help me finish this video? Come here. I got it all set up. I need you and the magnet. Come here, babies. So, when I said I wasn't sure how we were finishing this video for this week, I didn't have a plan yet. But it's the wife's birthday, and me and little Miss here decided to take Mom to the zoo for the day. So while we were there, I recorded some of it. So I hope you guys enjoy seeing some of the animals. And as always, remember, it's not about the destination. It's about the adventure. Get out, have some fun, and enjoy yourselves. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully we get a little bit more done. you.